All praises and glory to Yahweh, Ba'asham, Yahushai, Ba'asham, Ha, Rakah Kodash, double honors to our apostle elders which rule great millstone well, and shalom to the hopeful elect of the nation of Israel. May you endure into the end. Shalom, wa abababal. Alright, so I saw this video. It's on London Real. It says David Icke talks God and demons in next level. Full interview, which he's doing a interview with Alex Jones. David Icke is on Alex Jones, and what Alex Jones says here is pretty heavy. All right, he's saying that the elite, all right, prominent people, which means the elite. All right, and then he says that they're being tormented, all right, by demons. They're telling Alex Jones this, and he's reporting it. I'll let it play.
Know this, understand it. Can't wait to read the new book. Go next level with that. But I promise listeners, and my wife and others want to ask you questions, to just go through the waterfront of what we're currently seeing. I understand getting the big picture is important. I want to spend the rest of this segment, another 10 minutes, on this topic. But I should probably talk to you off the air at some point, because this is really in confidence. But very prominent household names. And it's happening to a lot of regular people too, but it tends to be really happening to prominent people who didn't believe in God, but weren't occultists, weren't Satanists, where they are seeing what this woman saw, but being attacked by it in their rooms at night, driving along in their car alone, the literal like the original Twilight Zone with the gremlin on the wing of the plane. Stuff like this is happening to household names, and they're calling me saying, "Oh my God, I guess God's real, or this is something else." So. Is it? I think what you're saying is the 5G and all of this is breaking down the dimensions, and it's like a conduit to have this electricity jump into ours.
Which on that video, there's a lot of meat. All right, so I'll put up the video in my description box. I tried to do the last one I said I would. I really did try, but it would not upload, so I just went about my business. If it's for you to find it, you'll find it, but this one I will put up there because it's just a YouTube video. All right, so it'll be in my description, Lord willing. Okay, and pretty much the Lord said that he would punish this Egypt, all right, which the Egyptian today is that so-called white race, all right, the red devil the Bible speaks of. 2nd Ezra 15, the Lord said that he would punish his place. It says in 2nd Ezra 15 verse 10, my people, the Israelites, the so-called Negro, Latino, and Native American Indian, which are scattered throughout the world in slavery, all right, are the people of the Lord, is led as a flock to the slaughter, which Esau has it in his heart to slaughter the Israelites. That's why we preach of Jacob's trouble. It's when this devil comes down with great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time. It says, I will not suffer them now to dwell in the land of Egypt, talking about his hopeful elect, but I will bring them with a mighty hand and a stretched out arm. So he's going to send Yahushai, and the armies of heaven are going to follow with him and smite Egypt with plagues, nuclear destruction of America. All right, which that's the ultimate plague, but America's already being plagued. All right, but the last plague is going to be the nuclear destruction as before, and will destroy all the land thereof. All right, so instead of like Egypt still exists, America won't exist no more. All right, and another thing that he's done is these apparitions. All right, they had that problem in Egypt as well. In Wisdom of Solomon 17, I'll just start at 1. It says, for great are thy judgments and cannot be expressed. Therefore, unnurtured souls have erred. Okay, so Edomites, all right, they're pretty much their wickedness is fulfilled with them making that implantable microchip mandatory. That's all she wrote, for them, nuclear destruction of America, which is going to be at their hand, but pretty much they're going to be possessed, all right? They're not going to be able to control themselves, and they're going to shoot these nukes upon America, and it's going to turn America into a lake of fire. It says, for when unrighteous men thought to oppress the holy nation are the Israelites. The unrighteous men back then were Ham, today it's Edom, and the other nations. They being shut up in their houses, right? So they were in the house because Egypt was being plagued. The prisoners of darkness, because there was no light, and fettered with the bonds of a long night, which the Lord made the night feel so long, right? Under these plagues. Lay there exiled from the eternal providence, for while they supposed to lie hid in their secret sins, they were scattered under a dark Salakia. It says, for while they supposed to lie hid in their secret sins, they were scattered under a dark veil of forgetfulness, being horribly astonished and troubled with strange apparitions. Right? I'm going to read that again. For while they supposed to lie hid in their secret sins, they were scattered under a dark veil of forgetfulness, being horribly astonished and troubled with strange apparitions. Let's go back to this. Let's go back to the point.
Yeah, it's acting as a bridge, a frequency bridge, absolutely designed to do that. And I think there's someone who's firing that at the Earth, isn't there, from low orbit satellites? What's his name?
Elon Musk.
That's it. Yeah. So I have a few questions about him. You
this for 35 years, and now Avatar and everything else has picked up what you say, and then now the new avatars are killing whales for their adrenochrome. Same thing over and over again. And so my listeners know this, they understand it, can't wait to read the new book, go next level with that. But I promise listeners, and my wife and others want to ask you questions, to just go through the waterfront of what we're currently seeing. I understand getting the big picture is important. I want to spend the rest of this segment, another 10 minutes, on this topic. But I should probably talk to you off the air at some point, because this is really in confidence. But very prominent household names. And it's happening to a lot of regular people too, but it tends to be really happening to prominent people who didn't believe in God, but weren't occultists, weren't Satanists, where they are seeing what this woman saw, but being attacked by it in their rooms at night, driving along in their car alone, the literal, like the original Twilight Zone with the gremlin on the wing of the plane, stuff.
Alright, so these Edomites are losing their minds just like this guy in here, alright? It says once again in verse 3 of Wisdom of Solomon 17 pertaining to ancient Egypt, what I just read to you in 2nd Ezra 15, where the Lord said he's going to plague America, spiritual Egypt, just like he done to ancient Egypt. And part of those plagues are seeing demons, seeing apparitions. It says, for while they supposed to lie hid in their secret sins, they were scattered under a dark veil of forgetfulness, being horribly astonished and troubled with strange apparitions. For neither might the coroner that held them keep them from fear, which they were literally hugging the house, but noises as of waters falling down sounded about them, and sad visions appeared unto them with heavy countenances. No power of the fire might give them light, neither could the bright flames of the stars endure to lighten the horrible night. Only there appeared unto them a fire kindled of itself, very dreadful. For being much terrified, they thought the things which they saw to be worse than the sight they saw not. Right? It says, only there appeared unto them a fire kindled in itself, which this is talking about a chariot, okay? A so-called UFO was the thing that was terrifying them. Tells you that in Ezekiel 1. It says, right here, verse 3, Ezekiel 1 verse 3, the word of Yahweh came expressly unto Ezekiel the priest, the son of Buzai, in the land of the Chaldeans in Babylon, by the river Kibar. The Chaldeans were the witches of Babylon. Alright, by the river Kibar, and the hand of Yahweh was near upon him. And I looked, and behold, a whirlwind, a so-called UFO, came out of the north, a great cloud. That's that UFO. For it says, a great cloud and a fire enfolding in itself, and a brightness was about it. So there's light that comes out of it, all right? But you're able to see the eyes of it, which are the windows, because the light comes out the windows. It says, and that light is the glory of the Father, Yahweh, and Yahweh Shai is going to come in this brightness. It says, and a brightness was about it, and out of the midst thereof, as the color of amber, out of the midst of the fire, right? Which the color amber is a brown, like a golden brown, alright? But I just wanted to show you that these chariots that are here also, alright? Which this is from Arcgis.com, UFO sighting map, and as you can see, it's all over America. Alright, it's all over America. Alright, the so-called UFOs are the vehicles, the chariots of heaven, which this is what the Messiah is going to return upon, and the armies which follow him are coming on these chariots. These so-called UFOs. That's why Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, the wicked, the red devil, the one that's being tormented by these spirits, alright, he created a space force because he knows that the Lord is coming to punish him. Alright. Revelation 19:11. It says, and I saw heaven open, and behold, a white horse. That's that light coming out of the chariot, the so-called UFO, making it look white. And it's the power and glory of Yahweh Ba'asham Yahushai. And he that sat upon him, which is Yahushai, sat upon this UFO, was called faithful and true, and in righteousness he doth judge and make war, which he's coming to kill the way of the heathen and establish the elect, which are pushing the righteous vibration of Yahweh Ba'asham Yahushai. Verse 13, and he was clothed with a vesture dipped in blood, which we've been prophesying about this judgment. It's in the scriptures. This is going to happen. And his name is called the Word of Yahweh. So who's doing this? Yahweh Shai. Who's the leader of all this happening? Yahweh Ba'asham Yahweh Shai. And he gave us prophecy. It's through his word, through the Father's word, that we have prophecy. And the Spirit ministers to us so that we could be actually ministering spirits on this earth for the sake of the elect, which we hope to be in that number. And the armies which were in heaven, the angels, followed him upon white horses, which are other so-called UFOs, clothed in fine linen, white and clean. And out of his mouth goeth a sharp sword, that it should smite the nations, and he shall rule them with the rod of iron, and he treadeth the winepress of the fierceness and wrath of Almighty Yahweh, speaking of Yahushai. And he hath on his vesture and on his thigh a name written, King of Kings and Lord of Lords. See? It says in verse 20, and the beast was taken, and with him the false prophet that wrought miracles before him, with which he deceived them that had received the mark of the beast. Which you got the beast system being America, European Union, and they have the military might NATO. Alright? The false prophet, which is the Roman Catholic Church, and it says that wrought miracles before him, which it tells you the miracles that he was able to cast fire down from heaven before the nations, which was and is Esau Edom, the so-called white man, which he had the Nazi German scientists, T-men, create the atomic, which is a nuclear weapon, the atomic bomb, which now they have nuclear power, which is the end of their power. Alright, so Revelation 13, verse let me see. Yep. I'll read Revelation 13, verse 13, which is talking about America, which is part of that beast system, being the whore that rides the beast. I'll just start at 11. Revelation 13:11, and I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had two horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon, and he exercised all the power of the first beast before him, and causeth the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast, whose deadly wound was healed. Right? So America is made in the pagan Roman Empire's image. Right? It says, and he doth great wonders, so that he maketh fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men, and deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast, saying to them that dwell on the earth, that they should make an image to the beast, the New World Order, which had the wound by a sword and did live. America coming into existence was that reincarnation of the Roman pagan empire, but now you have them together with the European Union, which it tells you in Revelation 17 that America, the son of perdition, alright, that it came out of the seven heads. It came out of those other countries that were trying to rule just like America before, which were Edomite countries. Alright, Greece, Rome, Spain, France, Britain, Germania Minor and Germania Major, right? They were all trying to rule the world at one time, which were all Edomites, so-called Caucasians, the wicked. And America is that eighth, right? It says in Revelation 17, it says in 11, and the beast that was and is not, even he is the eighth, which it tells you in that Revelation 13. This is that beast. And I beheld another beast coming out of the earth, and he had two horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon. which is America. The two horns is the Republican and the Democrat. Speak like a lamb. They act like they're kind and gentle and they're looking out for the best of you. And he spake as a dragon, which they're going to show their dragon when they start pushing draconian law pretty much to put you to death if you don't take the implantable microchip, which they're going to make mandatory for buying and selling, which they go in on this video about that I showed you. This one here.
The original.
This one here with David Icke.
And then, as I said earlier, they're not going to stop all of it. So what they have to do then, this is what this is all about, is say, okay, you want to challenge us, you want to not cooperate, that's fine, but we are going to have a global digital currency, which was in a book I wrote called Robots Rebellion in 1992. It came out in 93 about this end of cash and the one world currency. That we are going to not only have a digital global currency, but we're going to make it programmable. And that means that we can dictate what you can use it for and what you can't. And if you want to challenge us, well, how are you going to eat? How are you going to pay the rent? How are you going to survive? Because you're not going to be able to. And what we've seen, Alex, in the last few days in Britain is a precursor of that, as Nigel Farage has come out, because he's well known, he's got publicity, but loads of other people before him have gone through the same thing.
I've been debanked. I would imagine you've been messed with, right?
Well, I was banned from PayPal. I didn't even bloody use it. But the thing is that the banks are now starting to say, if you have the wrong opinion, you can't have a bank account. Now, okay.
All right. Which we've been telling you was going to come according to prophecy. So, which I'm in that chapter, Revelation 13. Verse 7, it says, and it was given unto him, the elite, right, the ones that controlled the system, the so-called white race, to make war with the saints. The saints are the Israelites, the so-called Negroes, the Latinos, and Native American Indians, which have been scattered throughout the world of slavery. And to overcome them, how's he going to overcome them? Is through deception. He's going to deceive 2/3 in America alone to take that implantable microchip, which they're going to mount in the lake of fire. And to overcome them, and power was given him. So power from Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai was given to him, which that's what this whole video is about. He said that they're talking to demons. And this is the effect of them talking to demons.
You can end with a phenomenon. You can go wherever you'd like, but thank you, because we were trying to set you up for weeks. Perfect timing. You came on today with the hysteria off of what this woman and others saw on this plane.
Yeah, well, I'd like to start deep in the rabbit hole, Alex, if you don't mind. I've just finished a book that's coming out on September the 1st called The Dream, which goes deeper in the rabbit hole than I've ever been. And there's information in that book that simply has never been written or revealed before. And it puts into context what is actually happening. You know, I've been saying all these decades that we cannot understand what is happening in the world of the seen unless we understand what's happening in the world of the unseen. So very quickly, you know, for people who haven't come across this, and you should ask, why haven't they come across this? Why isn't this taught in the schools as a matter of course? But what we see is only a tiny band of frequency, so small it's ridiculous. Everything beyond that frequency band, the limits of what the five senses can decode and the eye senses can decode into a visual reality, is infinity. And if you think of radio stations in the old analog system and television stations, they shared the same space. They share the same space, but they don't interfere with each other, impact upon each other, unless they're really close on the dial. So if you want to look for outside of this reality dimension, whatever you want to call it, for that level that can interfere with this, then you've got to look at bands of dimensional frequency that are very close to this one, but just outside of our five sense reality and our ability to perceive it in the natural course of events. And I'll call this dimension that's close to this one the astral or the fourth dimension. Call this 3D, the third dimension. And in the lower levels of this astral dimension, in other words, the lower frequency levels which are really close to this one, that's the realm of the demonic. That's where demons and their name and description in all different religions and cultures, that's where they exist. These are the entities that the Satanists are interacting with in their rituals. Why do these Satanists, who may be sick, but a lot of them are not stupid, why are they doing these rituals? Because they're interacting with these entities.
All right. And what he's talking about is angels that have been sent from the Lord to deceive this devil into deceiving the world into that implantable microchip, which this devil, the so-called white man, is being deceived by a spirit named Satan, right? That's why they worship Satan, which is an angel that works for Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, all right? It tells you that in Job, all right? Job 1 verse 6. Now there was a day when the sons of Yahweh came to present themselves before Yahweh, and Satan came also among them. So the Lord pretty much gave Satan his blessing to try Job's faith. All right, that's why he's known as the tempter. Matthew 5, Salakia 4, it says, Then was Yahushua led up of the Spirit into the wilderness to be tempted of the devil, which that devil is dealing with Satan. That's what Satan does. He tempts you. All right? When you're weak, he'll try to tempt you. See, in Esau is weak, so he can't endure temptation. That's why when he got hungry with his birthright, he sold it. Because he's not honorable. He's not a man of great integrity. He's a devil, and he's deceived, right? Now he's being deceived into deceiving the Israelites into taking an implantable microchip, which is going to be made mandatory for buying and selling, right? Revelation 17, let me grab that real quick. I remember, let me make sure I got all that. 17, it says in verse 11, And the beast that was and is not America, even he is the eighth. It's the eighth, right? It came out of the 7 heads, and is of the 7, those 7 heads, which is Greece, Rome, France, Britain, Spain, Germania Major, Germania Minor, which they were trying to rule the world in a form of reincarnating Rome, just like America. It says, goeth into perdition. Perdition means it's going to be destroyed. All right, and it's going to be destroyed by fire. Verse 17, for Yahweh and his son Yahushai have put in their hearts to fulfill his will through what? Through angels, and to agree and give their kingdom unto the beast until the words of Yahweh Ba'asham Yahushai shall be fulfilled. Verse 16, and the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, so the 7-head beast has 10 horns, those are the kings of the 7 nations I named. These shall hate the whore, so they're hating America, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire, which is the judgment of a witch, the judgment of a whore, and that's what America is. All right, it's a whoredom, and it's full of witchcraft, just like Egypt was, just like Babylon was. All right, and that's why they got this device that they want to make mandatory, the size of a grain of rice, using deception. Right, using deception. It says in verse 14 of Revelation 13, and deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast, which all these Edomites are witches. And what do? They do seances, right? Saying to them that dwell on the earth that they should make an image to the beast, which they're saying after they come out of those secret meetings of doing those demonic seances and human sacrifices and shit like that. They'll come out and say, hey, everybody, we're moving to a digital currency, right? That they should make an image to the beast. Everybody's going to be operating on this one world system, which had the wound by a sword and did live. And he had power to give life into the image of the beast, which that's what's happening. It's becoming activated, that the image of the beast should both speak, which they're telling you about the New World Order, and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed, which that's that draconian law, right? And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond. Who is it? The so-called white man, the red devil, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell save he that had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. Here is wisdom. Let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man. The man with this ability is that so-called white man, the red devil. All right? For it is the number of a man, and his number is 666. All right? Which that devil, that 666, he uses it a lot of times in making laws for this implantable microchip and to speak more draconian. All right? As a dragon, which he is that devil, the spirit of Satan fills these Edomites, and their death is pretty much right at hand. That's why they're seeing the end. They're having visions just like the other nations before them. They're being tormented. All right? And this is why America is in this spirit right here. It says, let me see here. Revelation 18, it says in verse 6, reward her, talking about America, even as she rewarded you, and double unto her double according to her works. And the cup which she hath filled, fill to her double. How much she hath glorified herself and lived deliciously, so much torment and sorrow give her. Talking about America. For she saith in her heart, I sit a queen. She is a whore, and am no widow. I have never seen no war. She shall see no sorrow, and shall see no sorrow, right? Because America's never really seen any war. they haven't really seen any major loss like the rest of these nations have, right? So America is very proud. They think that nothing could bring them down. It says in Obadiah, the pride of Esau has deceived him. Obadiah verse 3, the pride of thine heart have deceived thee. Thou that dwelleth in the cliffs of the rock, right, the Caucasians, whose habitation is high, that saith in his heart, who shall bring me down to the ground? Though thou exalt thyself as the eagle, like America, they got the great seal of America, which is the eagle, right? They represent themselves through that symbol. And though thou set thy nest among the stars, which they have the Space Force, which even in the past, when they touched, so-called touched the moon, they said the eagle has landed. Thence will I bring thee down, saith Yahweh. So the Lord is going to bring Esau down, and that's what time it is, all right? That's why Esau is being plagued. His kingdom is being plagued, right? Revelation